Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the All Sports Focus podcast. We're back here doing a college football and NFL episode. We are back here with Ryan and Pap. Say what's up.
What up?
The normal three. Troy is once yet again battling connection.
No,
Maybe,
I'm not, bro.
Troy, speak of the devil. There he is.
That's a lie.
And while Troy,
Fine.
all right, when Troy finally is able to connect, we're gonna hop into the intro, and we'll be right back.
I had a dream, I had a vision, I had to work for this and you didn't. I had to bleed, still got the stitches. I learned to swim from all your blood bridges. Say you're the poet and the prophet, but you never saw me coming. Always starving for attention, and I got the kind you wanted, and it's killing you now. You wanna spin it around, but the truth's still the truth. Nothing you can do. I feel it in my bones.
All right, so our first topic of the day has to be the biggest storyline from this past weekend. It has to be James Franklin getting fired from Penn State. That was kind of a shock, kind of not of a shock at the same time, I feel like. Back-to-back 20-point favorited losses to UCLA and Northwestern, and then, you just kind of felt like it had to happen, but you didn't know if they were going to wait till the end of the season or they were just going to rip the Band-Aid off. And they decided to rip the Band-Aid off. His contract is very complicated.
$49 million Band-Aid.
Yeah, but I've seen many different things where, like, if he gets a job below X amount of money, paying this much money, then they don't only have to pay, like, $16 million. I don't know. There's a bunch of, like, underlying factors to his contract, so I don't know what the total amount will be. But I fully expect to see James Franklin in some sort of coaching capacity next season. I think he'll probably take a smaller role. You see these Virginia Tech jobs and these UAB jobs. You might see some American Conference ones if those guys move up, that type of thing. But the question I'm going to ask, when we talk about this is, who do you think the clear cut, who you think right now, or this is very early in the stage, but who do you guys think your clear cut favorite right now, like in the moment, is to get this Penn State head coaching job? We're going to start with Pap. Who do you think it is?
Can you go to Ryan?
Okay, Ryan. Ryan, who do you think?
I think I'm between two. I think one is Curt Cignetti coming from Indiana, but I think his buyout stuff is also pretty complicated there. And then the other one, honestly, is John Gruden. I think if you're Penn State and you're in a conference where you still feel like it's a win now, you need a splash hire. He's kind of been, quote unquote, exonerated a little bit with the whole NFL stuff and how selective they were releasing things. So I think he could potentially fill in. He's made it very clear he wants to come back and coach in college especially. So I really could see him kind of filling he's a big enough personality to fit that big and that high profile of a university.
Troy, what do you think?
Let me tell you about John Gruden, man. I mean, that's a guy that knows football. But in all honesty, I could see that being a good hire, actually. I'm not very well versed when it comes to like the coaches universe, but I could totally see, I've seen chatter about that. So I think John Gruden probably is my favorite just because it's John Gruden, man. I love John Gruden. He's awesome.
I think you can also get him for a better deal too, because he's been out of coaching for a while. So you don't necessarily have to, like, if you're going to hire a Curt Cignetti away from Indiana or hire one of these other kind of rising coaches,
you're gonna have to pay.
And that Alabama did with Kalen DeBoer is like, you got to roll out the Brinks truck, and if you're already paying James Franklin a buyout, you're not going to necessarily afford to do that.
Another thing, I think we can't write off the interim Terry Smith right now because I mean, like, we haven't seen him coach yet, so I think I really wonder how many games are going to let him ride out.
Yeah, that's very true. I personally think the Curt Cignetti talk I think it's ridiculous, honestly. I mean, Curt Cignetti is leading the number 3 team in the country right now. Indiana's got plenty of NIL. And, I mean, you can tell that this fan base and those boosters, just with how well this football program has produced over the past 2 years, they're going to basically give Curt Cignetti the keys to the city, almost, with how much NIL is going to come in.
I always forget Mark Cuban is an Indiana grad, and he's donated a whole bunch.
Exactly. And, I mean, you can just tell the culture he's building at Indiana and just kind of reviving that fan base. I don't know why he would leave to kind of already gonna have to be chasing down the footsteps of, oh my God, we paid this much money to fire James Franklin. Can we do this better? Blah, 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 blah. So I don't see that happening. But my two favorites are actually Matt Rule, Nebraska head coach. He's proven himself in the college level, really, really kind of built Nebraska back up, not as good as we thought they would be. But he is a Penn State alumni as well, so that's why I think he'll be up there. And then my other one is Matt Campbell, the Iowa State head coach. I just think they're going to go for more proven kind of head coaches here because it's tough to really take a big swing at this. Like, you obviously have to make a splash hire. You fired him for $50 million. But at the same time, you don't want to, take a chance and him be a flop. And I think if you take one of those two coaches, you're in a good scenario. So, Pap, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat with you with Matt Rule, alma mater. And also, you're from there, you're gonna want to come back. And Nebraska, obviously, they've been good, they gotten better, but I almost would say they're getting close to their peak just with who they have, what they can bring to the table. I was thinking about saying Kurt Signetti just because I don't know if Indiana will just keep growing a year after year. I don't know. Maybe this might be I think this is like their window in a way. I think the last couple years are in their window, but I don't know if they can replenish. But then kind of my outside of the box, just kind of maybe probably won't happen. Is probably Ohio State offensive coordinator Brian Hartline. I mean, he's seen what it takes to become a national championship team. He kind of reminds you of Dan Lanning and Kirby Smart type of vibe, like how they leave and they go build something special over at their respective schools.
Yeah, he's been a hot kind of name because he's been the wide receivers coach for a long time, producing all those great Ohio State wide receivers, then recently became the offensive coordinator. He was the co-offensive coordinator with Chip Kelly, but Chip Kelly called the plays, but then he took over play calling this year. So he's a hot topic name. I bet you if Kentucky is able to get rid of Mark Stoops, Brian Hartline's name will be in that conversation as well. But there's going to be a lot of college coaching carousel this year. I mean, there's already, I think, 5 to 8 jobs open. And off the top of my head, I mean, you got Penn State, you got Virginia Tech, you have Oklahoma State, you have
UAB.
Oregon State, UAB. Then there's a couple other small schools in there, but obviously with Virginia Tech, Penn State, and Oregon State really being the big ones, and Oklahoma State as well. Those really being the 4 big ones right now. So that's something we'll keep our eye on as the season progresses and as we get closer to the offseason. But then staying on the coaching firing topic here, the Titans fired Brian Callahan after 6 weeks of this 2025 NFL season. I'm not shocked by this at all, just because of the statistic I saw that the last 4 head coaches who have picked a quarterback at number 1 have gotten fired in their rookie season. So the long-standing joke of you're drafting quarterback number 1 overall for the next head coach seems to be true a lot of the time. And that's exactly what happened. And the Titans are catching a lot of flack since they fired Mike Vrabel to then hire Brian Callahan. And now you look what Mike Vrabel is doing in New England, and then you look where the Titans are right now. So, Pap, what's your initial thoughts to this firing here by the Titans?
I think it's the right move just because I didn't see them get any better. Yeah, they got a nice win over the Cardinals last week, right? Cardinals?
Yeah.
They beat the Cardinals, or who did they beat?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cardinals. Yeah.
They beat the Cardinals. A nice win, but I have to come back this week, and they just didn't look great. I just think they need kind of a revive of the entire just culture, and like Cam Ward said, we ass. They're not good. So, are we doing candidates too?
Sure. Give us one candidate. Give us your top candidate.
Marcus Freeman, Notre Dame. I think he's gonna go there.
Wow.
Wow.
Praying, bro's just pre-firing himself, losing his head coach. Ryan, what do you think?
I think.
Or Troy, go ahead. Troy, go ahead.
No, I was just saying on that comment. I think Pap's just done with Marcus Freeman over there. I think he's done with him. That's what it sounds like to me.
Good. He's a top 5 coach in that college right now.
Not on a top 5 team though.
Don't even start. Troy, what are your thoughts on the Titans head coach? We're not going down this lane.
Okay. Yeah, I think firing him. I mean, 6 games that's crazy in my opinion. But I think he was gonna get fired at the end of the year if he didn't get fired now. So I think they just kind of got it done with. But as for who they need to like revive a program, the Titans probably have the worst culture, I think, and worst team overall as a franchise right now. Just they don't really. I mean, they've gone through however many quarterbacks the past couple years. They tried all these young quarterbacks. They can't get players to stay. Whatever players they do have just can't perform over there. As for who they're gonna get, it wouldn't be crazy to say like, um, maybe like maybe a Matt Nagy goes over there from the Chiefs.
Ooh,
Who knows?
he does
Depending on
have
how the Chiefs
connections with the
offense
GM.
performs this year. So
He
I
does have
mean,
connections with the GM.
I think if the Chiefs, I don't know what the Chiefs' performance is gonna have to look like for Matt Nagy to like leave. I don't know if he'd leave if they win a chip or if he'd leave if they don't. But I think if he's offered another head coaching job, I think he might take that. And I don't see why he wouldn't take a job over the Titans. They need some offensive play over there without a doubt.
Ryan?
Yeah, I mean, I don't. I guess I can see the writing on the wall with it, but it's also to me, I don't know that I look at this situation the same as like Zach Taylor in Cincinnati or stuff. Like you just don't have the players. Like
Mm.
nobody's really blaming Zach Taylor right now in Cincinnati for them losing a whole bunch of games because they say we don't have the players. And arguably, he still lost games even when he did have the players. So I just feel like this was a a short-term fix to a long-term problem, which is you don't have the talent. Yeah, you got Cam Ward, but you have no offensive line. You have very little run game. Your defense has been absolutely atrocious. And it's like, well, how much of that is on the head coach? He's only been there a season and not even a half, not even a full season and a half. So you really haven't had the time to draft or sign players to like rebuild anything offensively or defensively. And then now you're fired. And it's like, well, I got handed this shit show a year and a half ago, and now I'm getting fired before I even really had a chance to fix anything. So I don't know. I think they just kind of jumped the gun there a little bit, especially 6 games in. You knew you were the worst team in the NFL last year. You knew you weren't suddenly going to turn around and make the playoffs with Cam Ward. So not really sure what ownership was expecting here. But as far as candidates, I think I like the Matt Nagy idea. I also think Cliff Kingsbury from the Commanders gets back into head coaching, or if they don't necessarily want kind of following the same mold of like the young offensive minded coach, I could see Mike McCarthy coming out and taking over this job. Because Vrabel, I mean the culture that he had very similar to kind of McCarthy's tough, hard nosed football that he played in Green Bay and coached in Green Bay. So I see potentially him kind of coming in and being that role as well.
Yeah, I mean, you guys basically touched on all of it. I really expect them to go a quarterback developer since Spacey Cam Ward is really their whole team right now. So I would expect someone along the lines of any offensive coordinator between like a Joe Brady from the Bills to a Matt Nagy to a Mike Kafka, the Giants offensive coordinator, whose name's been kind of circled around some jobs over the last couple of years. And if Jackson Dart keeps developing, um, you never know. But I do like the Mike McCarthy and all those guys. And like I was saying with Troy's, Matt Nagy does have ties with the new GM of the Titans since he was the Chiefs assistant GM the past couple of years before getting the Titans GM job. So a little bit of ties to that. So talking about some games from this last week of the NFL season, it's only right. We don't have to talk about it, but I just want to mention that Cam Scatterboo, Jackson Dart, if we don't turn over the ball, we get Malik Neighbors back next year. I'm just saying we've got a bright future ahead of us. I'm very happy so far.
No, you
Hopefully
don't.
we can.
No, you
All
don't.
right. Hopefully we can trade for a
No, you
wide
don't.
receiver. Hopefully we can trade for a wide receiver at the deadline, like a Chris Olave. Maybe I've seen that name thrown around, or like a Jerry Jeudy or someone just to pair up with Malik Neighbors when he's healthy.
Please,
But then
anyone.
secondly here, Secondly, want to shout out, Troy said this on the college football party when we were talking earlier, that Bryce Young basically only plays good when his career is on the line. When people start, talking shit about him, saying that he's a bust and he shouldn't be playing anymore, he somehow turns it on and they start winning games. So good for Bryce Young and the Panthers. Got a good little squad cooking down there, but it's going to be tough with the Falcons and the Bucks playing as well. Yeah, and Rico Dowdle is a GOAT as well.
He's back.
So yeah, happy for Troy's. Panthers, if you would have told me before the week that out of our four favorite teams here on this podcast, that me and Troy's would have been the two to win, I would have said you were crazy. But the Lions unfortunately lost to the Chiefs on Sunday Night Football, and then Brian Branch proceeded to get suspended for a game. Him only being suspended one game for that actually kind of blows my mind a little bit.
Yeah.
I would have thought that was like a 3-game suspension.
I saw the reason why. I think they said something about the reason why because they didn't like penalize the hit that Juju had on them earlier in the game. So they're just saying like because they can't really do anything about that. So they're just like
came up and sucker punched.
Oh, so
right?
Let him just punch him after the game. Yeah, sounds good to me. That's like an average Brian Branch play right there, bro. Just
I would say that if the Buccaneers' top 6 wide receivers weren't hurt for Monday Night Football's game next week, I would say the Bucs would probably win by 20, facing that Lions secondary that has nobody playing. But
there's actually Thomas Harper, 5th-round pick last year. He's actually pretty good, or 2 years ago. We also have this random guy named well, let me try to get it right. Maybe like
I just saw you look at the computer, bro. You just looked at your computer screen.
Yeah. There's literally I literally had to look him up to make sure I got him right because I don't know. I don't know these guys. I think I could have gone out there and played corner last week and they would have just been like, "Oh, good."
I think they signed Michigan State's cornerbacks.
Yeah, literally.
But yeah, on the flip side of thing, the Chiefs get Rashee Rice back this next week. And I seriously think that
don't say
right
it,
now.
Bro. Don't.
What? All I was gonna say is right now I think Mahomes will end.
Glazinator's coming out.
No, I feel like you're gonna say something like, "Oh my gosh, the Chiefs are gonna win another Super Bowl this year."
I was really gonna say Mahomes is gonna end the year as the leading rusher for the Chiefs because like.
Oh well, no, that part's true. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
maybe
fair.
If you just let me talk and then cut me off, laggy, I would actually.
Well, you be glazing. You glaze the shit out of the Chiefs.
I don't see how I'm wrong though. Every year I say they're gonna win, they end up winning. I don't see how that makes me.
Let's talk about how in the history of the NFL that they've tracked it, there's only been 12 games where one team has not been penalized the entire game, and the Chiefs have the last 3. 3.
That's just good, clean football, man. That's just.
I watched the entire game. They might have missed 2 penalties on the Chiefs the entire game. 2.
Why does Travis Kelce get a flag for an uncatchable ball?
They missed 2, but they gave Lions a couple to where it kind of so they're,
Travis Kelce has an uncatchable ball 10 yards after he puts his hands up, and then the play's already done, and the ref's like, "Oh shit," and let me throw a flag.
Oh my God, they're the only team in the league where people literally complain every single time they win the game, and it's so annoying.
No, we complain.
There's so many other
Eagles
teams
too,
that win
man,
the game
and
like that.
Their false start and
the Eagles do it too.
Yeah,
but people complain about the way that they win, not that they win.
After the game, and then they forget about it. But it's the Chiefs. That's the only reason why they win games is because they don't throw flags. Blah 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 blah. It's like
because it deals with how they win.
When referees get suspended over calls, and it was the Chiefs, something's up. It happened last year, by the way. Sorry.
Yeah, but
it's just I don't get it.
And talking about the Monday night game between the Bills and the Falcons, the Bills don't look good at all.
John Gruden called that one. John Gruden called that.
The Bills are not looking too good. Josh Allen kind of is not playing great football right now. The people around him aren't playing great football. So it's not really a good recipe for success because a lot of times the Bills' success is Josh Allen playing out of his mind. And when Josh Allen seems to not do that, they can't win football games. So that's kind of what's happening right now.
I mean, to be fair, like the second half of the second quarter, I have never seen so many like legitimate star players that you count on get hurt. I mean, we've been talking on Sunday about all the Lions players getting hurt, and then Palmer gets hurt, Terrell Bernard gets hurt, Connor McGovern gets hurt. Like it was just one after another that just killed the end of that first half. And that was, I mean, when you went into halftime down 2 touchdowns, and then the first drive out of the second half, you don't really do anything. The game was kind of over at that point. So I don't know. Bye week will be good, I think, to try to get some sort of reset because after I hate that everybody's saying the Bills, like their only wins have been against these 1-5 teams. Like when we played the Ravens were fully healthy. So I don't want to hear they only beat the 1-5 Ravens. They had everybody when we played them. So I don't want to hear
You'd
that.
be saying that
but
about
the
the
other
Chiefs
teams,
if
yes.
that was the Chiefs.
Huh?
I said you'd be saying that if that was the Chiefs, if roles were reversed there.
No. If the Chiefs lost to the fucking Jags.
Whoa,
Whoa.
Ryan, leave
Why are we
yourself
talking shit?
out.
The Jags are a good team.
And
Why are
also,
we talking
what's
shit about
wrong
the
with
Jags?
what's wrong with Duval, bro? What's wrong with
Yeah.
Duval?
How are the Jags a bad football team? They
Hey,
only
I'm just
lost to
saying.
the Seahawks by 8.
I'm just saying the Falcons got 30-0'd by the Panthers, and looks like the Bills got the Panthers scheduled for Week 8. So we're gonna see how that matchup. Looks a lot better now than it was earlier in the year. I'm just gonna say that
Transitive property doesn't work in NFL. Transitive property doesn't
No,
work in NFL.
it will work.
the only thing that I learned about the NFL this season is that I don't know who the hell is good anymore.
That's what I was just about to say. I don't
Because
think there's
who's
one
good.
team right now I could
There
pick
is
out and
not
be like,
one
they're
team
gonna
that's
win.
a favorite.
What about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, man?
No,
But they
I
played
think,
they
No.
play to their opponents. They've
All of their
Hey,
games
4
have
of their
been so
games have
close.
been
they
That's
win.
gonna
by
catch
2
up to 'em.
but
points.
they win. But they
but they're
win.
not
They do
playing
win.
anyone like they haven't really played anyone yet. That's like whoa. Like, no, they just haven't. I think this week will be a good matchup for them.
I think the
even with us being
Seahawks
injured
one was
and they're being
Seahawks
injured.
one was legit.
The
That was a
Seahawks are
legit
pretty
win.
good, dude. They're not.
I know. I'm saying the Seahawks win for the Bucs was legit because I think the Seahawks are a really good team.
Yeah, I don't think there's one team that like stands. Teams have had good weeks. The Bills were good for the first couple weeks. The Eagles looked decent for the first couple weeks. The Bucs have looked good, but there's not one team that is like, oh my gosh, they're just head and shoulders above everybody else. The Chiefs haven't looked head and shoulders above everybody else. The Rams have had flashes and then flashes of not being good. The 49ers have had flashes. The Lions have had flashes of being good after their week 1 loss and
Packers.
stuff. So
The
Packers have had
Panthers.
flashes.
Packers look iffy as hell.
I mean, yeah, the Packers looked great, and then they got beat by the Browns, and so it's
Now they
just
just look iffy.
Troy, the Panthers are
everybody has
3-3, dude. Stop acting like they're 6-0.
We're about to be.
I
We're
get-
about
I
to be
get your
4-3
teams.
next week. No, we're about to be
You're
4.
playing the
Bro, we play the
Jets.
0. Yeah, we play the 0-25 Jets next week, bro. Like it's gonna be.
You guys have
Oh, I
the
thought they
were on a
easiest
bye.
schedule.
I
You
was
gonna say
should
the
be.
Panthers
You
against the
should
bye
be
week.
good. You play in the
I'm
NFC
aware.
South as well.
Whoa,
You should be
whoa,
good.
whoa. Why are we hating on the Buccaneers?
Because
They're a good football
statistically,
team.
over the last
Buccaneers-
10 years, the NFC South and the AFC South have been the 2 worst divisions by far, and it's not even close.
Yeah, I mean I agree. We've won the NFC South 3 times in a row, and we didn't have a winning record for any of them.
Exactly. So, but I want to move on here to college football since there is a decent amount of big games this weekend. I think we got to first start off by talking about the game, kind of going in opposite order here. But 7:30 Saturday night in South Bend, the University of Southern California Trojans will be traveling to play Notre Dame in their rivalry game. This is a must-win for both teams here. Notre Dame loses this game, that'll officially put them out of the college football playoff contention. And if USC is able to win this game, they will, really raise their case to be that 4th Big Ten team in the playoffs. Pap, I'm gonna only go to you on this one. What are your initial thoughts here on this game?
I mean, I think we should be able to take care of business. We had those rough first 2 weeks with our new defensive coordinator, but since then we've given up 7 points in each game. I know we're not playing like those top end teams, but it's improvements for sure. And I always kind of say, like, I've always said it with like USC and UCLA, traveling super hard, especially when you play a good team. Like Michigan going to USC is going to be a battle, but I think if USC went to Michigan, I think Michigan might win that game. So I think it all just depends on where you're going and where you're heading. And USC in the last couple of years, they haven't been very good at South Bend. I was at the last time they played with the Caleb Williams, and we kind of put it to them. So I think we should be able to handle them if we can contain their wide receivers. And I just think we're ready. I think we're prepared for this game more than ever. And I think we win this will kind of propel us back into that playoff talk.
One thing I want to mention here before I forget to, and this is not targeted at Notre Dame, this is targeted at everybody in the country. I'm really sick of when like AP rankings and college football rankings come out, and I really hate the term quality losses. I know that really applies to a lot of the SEC teams as well, but that term just kind of really pisses me off because it's like you still lost the game. Obviously, it's a better opponent than somebody else might have lost to like a crappy team. But at the same time, I don't know. I don't know what your guys' feelings on that is, but like I hate like seeing like a team, they have a quality loss against this team that makes them better than this team who, you get what I'm saying. I don't know what your guys' thoughts on that are.
I think quality losses are good for comparisons when it's like two, let's say come down to the end of the season, and then since you brought up Notre Dame, I'll just use them. 10-2 Notre Dame versus 10-2, let's just throw in a team like 10-2, like Ole Miss or something.
Mhm.
Like, let's just say that. I think they're gonna compare, okay, 10-2 Notre Dame, they lost to Miami and Texas A&M, and we'll see where they're at the end of the year. And then 10-2 Ole Miss, they lose to Georgia and whoever else they play. So, like, I think that's the only time it's good to use, but I think quality losses aren't as good to use when you're talking about like a undefeated team or like a low end undefeated team, not low end because they're never low end, or like a 11-1 or even like a 9-3. I think they have to be comparable, like I guess like on an index. But when you're just like saying like Texas Tech should be below someone because their quality losses are better than Texas Tech. Well, Texas Tech hasn't lost a game, so you can't put them anywhere besides where they're at.
Yeah, I think it really can only be used when you've got two teams of the same record. I don't think it should not be used in a case of like, hey, Alabama is, whatever, 10-2 and Georgia's 11-1 or whatever the case is. And you're going to say, well, Alabama has a better two quality losses compared to Georgia, or, a case like that. I don't think you can use it to jump over somebody else who has less losses. I think it can really only be like what Pap was saying. At the end of the season, you compare and say, was one of their losses to an unranked, like Alabama last year, losing to Oklahoma and Vanderbilt, weren't quality losses. So that then hurts them in the picture of comparing to another team that was on the bubble with them. I think that's really the only way that you can justify using those.
Troy?
I agree with what they were saying, but I feel like at the same time, if you do have like a 10-2 SEC school that lost to, let's say, like A&M, and let's say A&M right now is number 4, Ole Miss is 5. Let's say they lost to those two teams, but then you have like a ACC school who hasn't really played pretty much anyone except for like Miami, and their one loss is Miami, but their other wins are against like the unranked ACC schools and other unranked schools. I feel like in that situation for me, then you kind of give the bump to that SEC school that actually had like a difficult schedule. But I think in general, the rule as they described it is good. But I think at the same time, you also have to look at what conference that team is playing in. Of course, that doesn't really apply to like Notre Dame, but I think it's really important what opponents they also have played throughout the rest of the year. But you can't just jump someone like most of the time if like two SEC schools are like that, or like it really depends on the conference for me or the situation of the team, to be honest.
All right. And then just quickly, just highlighting some of the other big games this weekend. You got LSU and Vanderbilt, a top 20 matchup in the SEC. We've got Ole Miss and Georgia, which is another top 10 matchup. College game day will be there. Texas Tech, Arizona State. What?
Have you seen that? The
Kirby
Be
Smart.
Smart
Oh yeah,
the
that
timeout
was
thing.
that was ridiculous. I was like texting about that in the group chat, dude. For him
Fake
to
That
say
was
he
news.
crazy.
wasn't calling a timeout. Auburn should sue the
Which
SEC for how that game was officiated. They got screwed.
But the
Big
unfortunate thing
time.
is like they're trying to say that it didn't like happen, but obviously we know he did that. but it is like a coincidence how right when he started clapping, he did start running that way. Like the one guy,
Yeah.
the power,
I
like right
also
when he ran, so I could see what they're saying, but yeah.
I also think
Well,
that he definitely got in touchdown wise on that sneak and then fumbled it. I think that was a bad call as well. I thought he was clearly over the goal line, but it's a topic for another day. Texas Tech, Arizona
I mean, I
State.
think they should start doing where the ACC does, where you can see in the replay room when they're reviewing stuff like that.
Yeah. And then I
Mhm.
think the really last two big ones of the weekend is Tennessee, Alabama, and Tuscaloosa. I mean, golly, Alabama has had a freaking gauntlet here of a schedule, and they will continue to have a gauntlet of a schedule the rest of the way. And then lastly, the holy war in the Big 12, the BYU Cougars versus the Utah Utes, really will be the battle of what team. It's basically those two, and then the other Big 12 game of the week, Arizona State and Texas Tech, will basically come down to those four teams to see who can get in the conference championship. Cincinnati's up there as well, but I don't really think much of Cincinnati. But real quickly, who do you guys like? Who's your guys' up and comer here? Your favorite for the Heisman through 6 weeks? This will be the last question of the night. We talked about this before the season started, and a lot of us said Cade Klubnik, Arch Manning, which was kind of a bad look for us because, we know where
Can I
those
make one point here
two guys
before
are.
we do this?
Yeah.
Who decided that the SEC night game for this week is Arch Manning in Texas versus Cutter Boley in Kentucky?
That's not the night game.
Yeah, it is. It's the 7:30 game.
No, it's 7
No,
o'clock.
that's the
Tennessee-Alabama is the
7.
7:30.
Yeah.
Tennessee-Alabama is
Whatever.
the
Regardless,
7:30 night game.
It's still a
why are
night
they
game. It's
playing?
still a night game.
Why is that a night game?
That's a good point.
Well, there's
I mean, all
two
the other
SEC
games.
matchups
It
after
might
that.
just be just like that's like the one game that they get at night a year or something. Like that's just what
Yeah.
it is.
That could be what it
Well, I
is,
mean,
but
there's
I
two.
completely
There's
agree. It's a
two
terrible,
games after that, but yeah.
it's a really bad game, but
Okay, sorry.
go
Sorry for
Texas.
interrupting.
Go
Okay,
Texas.
gosh, Ryan.
No, it's okay.
But
It's okay.
I think my clear-cut favorite is Ty Simpson of Alabama right now. I mean, he has been the best quarterback. Fernando Mendoza is a close second for me from Indiana, but I'm riding with Ty Simpson, and I believed him in the preseason, and I still do now. So, Ryan?
For me, it's a three-way race. It's Ty Simpson, it's Carson Beck, and it's Fernando Mendoza. I think whatever team of the three kind of ends up with the best record heading into the postseason, I think they'll kind of get the nod. Right now, I think Ty Simpson or Mendoza kind of have the best resume as far as who they've beaten, especially Mendoza going into Eugene and getting the win over Oregon there for kind of an up-and-coming Indiana team. I think he gets a little bit of bonus points there. But I do think at the end of it, it'll end up being Ty Simpson, just Alabama with its brand recognition and stuff.
Pat?
Carson Beck, Ty Simpson. I think those are the only two. I don't see Fernando Mendoza doing anything like overall for the Heisman just because I don't see them going undefeated, and that's what you need to do to win the Heisman for the most part. For the most part. I mean, Ty Simpson, like Alabama looks damn good, so that's why, but like I don't know. I like Carson Beck. I think they're gonna win out, and you really can't argue with them winning out. And if he looks as good as he does now, like there's literally no arguing with that. So yeah, I like Carson Beck, and yeah,
Troy?
Yeah, it's definitely between Ty Simpson and Carson Beck. Miami's definitely gonna go undefeated through the year, so that's gonna really help Carson Beck out. But I think at the end of the season, you're gonna look at these two teams and who they've played. And I think Alabama's gonna end up having harder competition than Miami, and I think Ty Simpson's gonna end up giving it if they win out because their competition has been very, very high and it's gonna continue to be like that the rest of the season. And Ty Simpson's he's balling, man. I mean, he's out here. I honestly didn't think Ty Simpson or Alabama was gonna be that good this year. Comparable to like past few years, but they still got it. Ty Simpson, great quarterback. Carson Beck, don't know how he recovered after the UCL tear last year, but shout out to him. And yeah.
All right. So with that being said, that is going to wrap up today's this week's episode. Unless you guys have anything else to say, Obviously, this one didn't really have much of a general theme. It was just kind of talking about the latest news over the past week here of the football season. We are very excited. We will be doing a MLB one here as the World Series approaches, as we do every year. Our one MLB one is the World Series preview. Troy will be back with the UFC. NBA is starting soon, like I mentioned, with Pap Troy and Sean. Those guys really know the NBA. And college basketball starting up as well here within the next couple of weeks. So the best time of year when basically every sport here is rolling besides baseball be wrapping up. But, you're going to have everything from college football to college basketball to the NFL to NBA. We got it all. So we're really looking forward to getting back into the swing of kind of all the sports. Right now, we're obviously just football, but we're looking back to get into all the different ones. So we appreciate you guys as always. Go check out the YouTube, the Spotify, the Instagram, the merch site, everything like that. Go check out the new graphic shirts like Ryan's got on. You guys three got anything else, or are we all good?
Good.
We're good?
All set.
All right. We appreciate you guys for listening, and we will see you guys next week.